Hello, my name is Clifton Johnson, and I want to welcome our viewers in the United States and around the world to the Empower Series podcast. I want to tell you, I am so excited about today. We're going to talk about community empowerment, building a brighter financial future together. But before I do so, as always, I want you to take the time and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Or if you're following us on any of our if you're not following us on any of our social media platforms, please do so now. Do not keep us a secret. The only way people are going to find out about the Empower Series is if you share it with them. So please do so. In every one of our programs, we deliver hope, inspiration, education, and connecting you to resources to help you take that next step to achieve your goal. Today, we're going to connect you to Larsha Thomas. She's the Vice President Community Development Officer at Independent Financial. Larsha, welcome to the Empower Series.
Thank you for having me.
I figure you can do a much better job than I can of explaining what you do. But I'm so excited because we were talking a little bit before about community development, what that is. So I want you to definitely break that down. Yeah. But more importantly, I believe that citizens are not familiar with it. Yeah. And there's a lot of resources that are underutilized. So we're going to talk about what community development is, what resources are being underutilized, and how we can really help each other, right? Be empowered.
Absolutely. So I'm ready to break that down. So community development, I will say, really stems out of the Community Reinvestment Act. Some people are like, what is that? What's this act? It is a law or an act that was enacted in the 70s to really help banks meet the credit needs of the communities that they serve, and specifically low to moderate income communities. This act was, like a lot of legislation around that time, really aimed to correct a lot of systems that had been in place that barred borrowers from being able to go into the bank and get homes. There was some Fair Lending Act was also implemented during that era, but also making sure that us at the bank are meeting the credit needs. And when we're meeting those credit needs, we're looking at for what we like to call CRA, or community development hooks, right? That is around affordable housing, making sure low to moderate income individuals can be in quality housing, and also that we are providing loans and what we call majority minority or majority Black, certain census tracts, right? Because we do know systematically and historically those have been underserved. So we as banks are obligated, and we have a due diligence to make sure that we are focusing in on that. Also, we're focusing in on economic development. That means empowering small businesses with certain revenues, what are deemed as small businesses, to make sure that they can grow and they can create jobs in said communities that we're talking about. And then the last two are very, some of my favorites like the others, but revitalization and stabilization. There are distressed communities that really need some investing in infrastructure and just building so those communities can thrive and flourish. So that's another. And last but not least, community service, which I love. Community service, really, it's very far reaching, I like to say. That can be boots on the ground, serving in your community at a local food pantry, handing out food, or a soup kitchen. But for us, we're really focusing in on that financial education and providing subject matter expertise that will help communities in low to moderate. And when I say financial education, I probably should get a little bit more granular, not just, teaching a workshop about housing or budgeting, but also providing that technical assistance, right? Helping with resume building, reviewing resumes, doing some mentorship. Also, that could be serving on a board or an advisory or a committee for a nonprofit that serves low to moderate income individuals. So community development, CRA, it is a whole gambit of information a lot of people don't know about, but I always encourage people to really tap in and get a better understanding of it.
Well, thank you for explaining that to me. One of the things that I do want to talk about, though, is you talked about CRA, and you mentioned low to moderate income. Most people don't know what that is. Right? So elaborate on that, and then I'm going to ask another follow-up question to that.
Yeah. So when we're determining what is low to moderate income, we're really looking at the area median income for a metropolitan statistical area, an MSA, and we're taking that number. So for example, I'll say Dallas County. Let's just say we're looking at the what is considered low to moderate for that particular area. We're going to look at the area median income. I believe right now it's a little bit over 100,000, so maybe 105,000, just kind of rounding and doing easy math. And so we're looking at 50 to 80% of the area median income to determine what's low to moderate income. And so when you have the numbers, it actually makes it much more clear and apparent. So in Dallas County, that could be, if I use those numbers, your 100,000, that could be between 50 and 80,000, right? And when you hear that, you're like, wow, that's that.
I'm in that.
I'm in that, exactly,
Right.
right? Knowing what that means and knowing those numbers and getting granular, it lets you know, okay, this is what low to moderate income is. And then also it opens up a whole world of knowing what programs can benefit individuals that are low to moderate income.
Okay, so I want to dive a little bit deeper into that because as you're targeting low to moderate income individuals, the programs that you're putting in these communities can benefit everyone though. And
Yes.
so I would say that if there's any kind of stigma in being categorized as low to moderate income, which more people fall in than they
Yes.
think,
Yes.
don't worry about it because if you got banks who are going into these areas and they're targeted to improve the engagement and the inclusiveness of low to moderate income individuals, that doesn't mean that if you're above that, that you can't participate.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And it's for the good of everyone. Healthy, thriving communities where we're helping not only those who are challenged, but also those who are successful. That's going to build a thriving community. And that's what our mission is, to develop healthy communities. And something that I also like that you alluded to is that, there's a stigma when people hear low income. They think, "Oh, you're barely making it, you're barely surviving." But there's a lot of people that you may work with, that you may fellowship with, that may be your neighbor, that fit into that realm of low to moderate income, especially as costs continue to thrive. I spent a good bulk of my career being considered low to moderate income, although I was successful by every other meed, college educated, working in banking. But when you look at those numbers, a lot more of us and a lot more of our neighbors fall into those categories.
And I'll just tell you, as a financial advisor, we see what's really under the hood.
Yeah.
And I would tell you that it's not always the amount of money people make that determines the quality and the fulfillment of their life and the less
Exactly.
stress, because there are people who don't make as much money and they're more frugal
Yeah.
and they have more money and less stress.
Yeah.
Even though they might not be living in the big house and have multiple cars, but they don't have all the debt.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Exactly.
It reminds me of this commercial where the guy was mowing his lawn. He was like, "Yeah, I'm married, got a house, got a white picket fence, all these cars." Like, he's happy. He said, "Yeah, I'm in debt up to my eyeballs."
Oh, I think I know exactly which one you're talking about. Because I'm like, I think I may see what he's hitting on. Yeah.
So the reason why I'm so excited about having this conversation with you is because the Empower series, we do financial literacy, but it's called the Empower series because it's much more than just money. I say that the best thing, the most important thing that we need to be better stewards of are our ideas. And from there, it determines how we spend our time, the relationships we form, and then that's manifested around us. And when you look at organizations like your bank or any other organizations that are being good corporate citizens, I believe, and when I look around, it's like there's underutilized resources. And I'm excited about having you on our program because I want you to take the time to let people know what you guys are doing that's not really being utilized and what you would like us to do to take advantage of that. Like, tell us how to use you.
Yes, 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 and that's what we're here for. And so I'll kind of, explain this as I go through those community development hooks, right? So kind of first, when I think about it, affordable housing solutions, right? Several people want to be homeowners. You spoke to a partner of mine who that is her sole focus, home ownership, right? And there's so many programs, right, that people aren't utilizing. I think about the city of Dallas. I think about down payment assistance, not only through the city, but also through the county. Your municipalities have access to funds to help you achieve home ownership, which ultimately can lead to wealth, right? Also, there's some federal programs. The Federal Home Loan Bank, there are several throughout the country. Federal Home Loan Bank of Dallas, which we're a member of, they have a grant up to $20,000. And it's first come, first serve. And so, of course, those funds at this point are depleted, but every year that fund gets replenished, right? $20,000 that people don't know that they have access to. And you can visit the Federal Home Loan Bank's website and find banks such as Independent Financial who are participants. Go there, talk to a banker, see what programs that they have available. It's really great that you can use those funds along with municipal funds to be able to close that gap, because we know that housing costs aren't coming down, but if we can utilize those resources in order to be able to get in a home, that's great. So that's something, those are some resources you could utilize with affordable housing. When it comes to economic development and really helping small businesses, I always encourage individuals to look into the federal, programs with the the SBA, right? The Small Business Administration. Those are government-backed loans. They are very, I think they're underutilized for the most part, right? So look for resources that they have. We partnered with them and done education in the past, but they also do have preferred lenders, right? SBA preferred lenders. The SBA also has partnerships with the small business community development, SBDCs, small business community development organizations throughout areas. We have one in Dallas, and also, again, they're sprinkled throughout the United States, right? But then I also take it a step further, and I know we are a bank, we're a financial institution, but I implore people to look into community development financial institutions. These are CDFIs. They're underutilized because a lot of people don't know about them. But basically, the way the CDFIs work is things that traditional banks can't do because maybe the criteria is a little bit more difficult. Those CDFIs who operate like nonprofits who banks can invest in, which we do, do grants and things like that to some CDFIs. They can give you really great rates for loans as well as terms for loans that a traditional bank can't do, right? And that's for small business as well as some consumer, with some CDFIs. So that's some around, again, small business and affordable housing. But then also think about some of those nonprofit organizations in your communities that are there to serve. A lot
Like
of them,
us.
yes,
Right.
yes. And there's so many that have, again, different focuses, but some nonprofits are helping with utility assistance, helping with rental assistance, helping with groceries. I tell people all the time, there are not these income limits to being able to go into a food pantry like there are with some other programs. So you could be over, moderate. You might not be in low to moderate income, but just say you had a flat tire. That was an expense you didn't expect. So now that's tapping into your ability to be able to get groceries. You can walk into several pantries around our community. They won't ask for income. They'll just ask for your name and make sure, some citizenship information, maybe things like that. And you can utilize that to offset some costs, right?
And even if you're unemployed.
If exactly. I mean, there's just so many
Transitioning
things
employment,
that we don't think about, right? And life happens. I tell people all the time when we're doing workshops or just meeting and talking, life happens. And that's why we do have those great resources for around community service there. And then last but not least, when we're talking about revitalization, there are several organizations. One that comes to mind that we partner with often and here in Dallas County is Fraser Revitalization. They really help a lot with improving homes for homeowners, especially those who are seniors and they want to stay in their homes, but they can't keep it up. Or even if they're not seniors and they fit into certain income categories, they will help you, make sure that the home that you work so hard to have and live in, you can keep it up, right? And it's for free with grants and funding. And so just really tapping into all of those resources. And of course, I know we're going to share our information. I feel like I have my mind is a Rolodex. Anytime I come across someone and there's a need, whether it's an individual, small business, a nonprofit, I'm like, who can I connect you with to help you? And so always I say, feel free to reach out to us because we can share a lot more of those resources as well.
Well, you didn't know about the Empower series until I reached out to Kelly, and so I think I'm not doing a good job. I got to. So I'm going to share with you. There's a gentleman by the name of Dr. George Fraser. He is he talks about networking all the time, and he says that life is about building relationships. He has said so many things. I have some shorts out there about him, but the point I want to make is that he talks about education and knowing things is important, but it's not enough. Education is critically important, but what's more important is relationships. And I want to talk to you about, in all of those 4 categories, how we as citizens can begin building relationships with you or with other organizations out there to become aware of what's available.
Yeah, I think it goes kind of back to what I've been talking about. And a lot of that, I know we don't want to be engaged and be involved. Sometimes we think, okay, I got to mind my business, and my mama said, mind the business that pays me, right? But sometimes we have to get out of our comfort zone and also put our pride aside and see what is available to me. It's not necessarily a handout. Some people think, I don't want to, tap into that because maybe not for me. But just getting out there, doing your research again, seeing what nonprofits are in your area, utilizing your municipality. I know several hold, whether it's mixers or I'll give an example. the McKinney Chamber just recently did an open mic for nonprofits, small businesses, and entities to come together and just share what they do. It was open to the public, including
I didn't know about
yeah,
that.
including
You will let me know next
citizens.
time that
I will let
happens.
you know next
Okay.
time, right? But chambers and
Yeah.
associations, and
It's getting the
again,
word out
your
there, right?
city, right? Knowing what is going on around you will allow you to know what resources are available
Exactly,
to you.
exactly.
So again, I always say just put yourself out there, and even if not, hey, Google is free.
I know.
So
Really,
utilize
really.
that or utilize us. That's what we're here for, right?
So there's some people who don't know about your bank,
Yeah, yeah.
right? And so what can you tell us? Again, what I'm thinking about is this. I encourage people to develop relationships with financial advisors.
Yes,
A lot of
yes.
people think, I don't have enough money. They got all these reasons why they're not doing it. And
Yes.
then when they finally do it, they go like, oh man, I wish I had. So when it comes to your institution or even institutions overall, let's get very granular. So should people just walk into the bank and say, hi, I don't have an account here, but tell me what you guys do? I mean,
Yeah.
what action would you want from individuals to really begin the relationship forming? Whether it's at a banker level, a mortgage specialist level,
Yeah.
or anybody, do you guys have community representatives within branches? Talk to me more about that.
That what you just alluded to, walking into the bank, hey, what do you do, right?
Yeah.
Interview your bank. Whether I think a lot of times, whether we are unbanked or we have bank accounts,
Yeah.
the bank account that we chose was often chosen for us. Maybe it was, our family member had that bank and say, hey, you should go there, and we just did. Or if we're not banked, it's because there's some kind of distrust, right?
Yeah.
So I often say, similar to how you would have a conversation and be very candid with your doctor, you should be the same with the person who's going to be protecting your money and your assets, right? And your wealth. So interviewing your bank, and you can do that again. I say utilize the resources you have. Get online and start type in Google the things that you want, right? Small business accounts. It's going to pull up a gambit of banks. Start looking at those, and then interview those banks. Pop in, look at the one that's closest to you or more convenient to you. Pop in, ask to speak to the financial center manager, the branch manager. If they have a community engagement officer, you can find that on their websites. But walk in, see how the atmosphere is. Do they greet you? Are they engaging with you? Are they asking questions to get to know you, or are they just trying to sell your product? Interview your bank like you would interview, like I said, your doctor or someone else, right? Because this is something that's important with you. And if you do already have a bank account, get to know your banker. Is that bank working for you? Sometimes our money is just sitting there, but it's not working for us. Or we're getting charged fees and we're not sure where those fees are coming from, but we just take it.
Exactly.
Get to know your bank, get to know the people that work in your bank, and form that relationship. Because over time, when your life changes and you decide, hey, maybe I want to open a small business, you can pick up the phone and call Larsha because she knows you already,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
You can pick up the phone if you're like, I'm thinking about getting a mortgage. Larsha, I know I've been in there, I've talked to you a couple of times. What are some options available to me, right? Get to know the people that are going to help you transition financially throughout your life.
And let's go with some more examples, because I remember a guy came to me and he wanted to get a loan to help do some kind of construction project. And he talked about how long he had a bank account at this bank, but he didn't know anybody there. I was like, dude, just having a bank account, I was like,
That's not
you got to build a relationship
Yes.
before you really need one.
Yes, yes.
And so to your point, I think going into your bank and just letting them know who you are and what you do, and let's say that banker may know of some certain things that are happening, like they know your business. So if there's an event that's going on, the bank is sponsoring something,
Yes.
they're going to reach out and call you,
Yes.
right? And then that increases your knowledge and awareness, so that when something does come up and now you need to borrow something, they know you.
Yes.
And also I would say it's not always the big banks like Bank of America, Wells Fargo. It's the smaller regional banks that have more of a local decision-making process, and will say, I think even if we can't do something, maybe I'll introduce you to another organization that will.
Yes.
Right, because the requirements are a little bit less.
Absolutely. And again, being in banking for as long as I have been, when I started in 2005, 2006, on a Friday, we would have lines of people wrapped around the drive-through, wrapped outside the lobby to come in and cash their checks. In 2024, it's not happening. So when you walk in that bank, we know you, we will remember you. So that is, you're not just a number. We know you. Build that relationship, especially in these times when everything's so transactional or digital and you don't have to go in. You still want to have that human relation.
So let's talk about financial literacy and
Yes.
what you're doing in the community, partnering with other organizations or
Yes.
partners, because we partner with banks, we
Yeah.
partner with Money Management International,
Yes.
we partner with the resource partners of the SBA,
Yeah, yeah.
which all of these organizations, I believe, when I ask somebody if they've heard of the SCORE or the
Yes.
Small Business Development Center, they all say no.
Oh,
And they need a
ah,
mentor, right? They're
yeah.
asking, but they can find somebody who would charge them to be a consultant, a business consultant.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like your taxpayers are paying for this already.
Yes,
So,
yes.
so what are some of the things you do around educating in the communities that you would like people to know because
Yeah, and I'm
they
glad
don't
you
know?
mentioned a couple of those, specifically SCORE. SCORE is a mentorship program for small businesses. It's several professionals from several different industries that are there to mentor and walk and help develop these small business. And they are a long partner of ours. Not only do we do virtual financial education workshops with them on a monthly basis,
Okay.
but they also come out when we're collaborating with other organizations and speak about their mentorship. So, for example, we are doing a small business university with the Oak Cliff Chamber, a small cohort of about 13 businesses, and we want to just again pour into them so they know from the banking side what we're looking at to help you get capital ready, build and grow. But we also want them to know who the resources in the community are that can help them. So we had SCORE come in to talk about their mentorship program, and we had people sign up, so now they have a mentor to continue to walk and help them thrive and grow. But also Dallas, the deck in South Dallas, who has several different resources. You can have a co-working space there. You can hold events there. They have several networking events. I was actually at an event last night celebrating Black Business Month, and they had a panel of small Black-led small businesses to again just pour back into the community. And so that's part of again why you want to have a relationship at your bank, all right? Because if we're there and we're sponsoring this, you come in and you talk to a financial center manager, they can say, oh, hey, we have this business university with the Oak Cliff Chamber, or hey, we're going to be going to an event at the deck for small businesses. That would be great if your business can come and network and learn about those things, right? Similar to affordable housing, you talk to my partner, my colleague Angela, several organizations that we work with, coming out and doing affordable housing workshops, letting them know about some of those city programs and funding. I mean, I could list all the nonprofits we work with, but that might be too much.
Let's go back to the cohort that you're doing with the Oak Cliff Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
So with that organization, how many business owners are involved in that?
13 businesses.
Now, could you have had more?
Absolutely. And this was, go ahead.
So I'm thinking, why was it not? Help me understand why only 13.
Yes. And so this was our first cohort. We had 22 applicants. And so we did an interview process. We were really intentional with these being businesses who truly needed the help. They did have some revenue requirements. We wanted to make sure that they were in business for a certain amount of time. And so it was a very strenuous and tedious process, and we wanted everyone to be a part. But out of those 13, we really had to make the decision based on their potential, based on their commitment to the program. It's 10 weeks, and we want you to be there because every week is very crucial. And so we hope that it can continue to grow, but with it being our first cohort, those 13, we feel we're perfect candidates. And although we're only have a couple more weeks left, I'm kind of sad that I won't be able to spend every Tuesday with them. But we have, service-based organizations, we have real estate agents there. I mean, it's a really great group, and we're great. We're fortunate enough to be able to work and partner with them.
How many of those do you want to do a year?
Honestly, we would like to make it an annual basis. If we could do more, we definitely would. I think the more that we can do and the more we can empower the community and again, provide resources and ways to put capital back into those businesses so they can grow to scale, the better. But we don't want it to get convoluted as well. We want to be intentional and make sure that it is impactful.
Could you partner with other Chamber of Commerces?
Absolutely.
So let's say every Chamber of Commerce in the city that you're in can have this cohort.
Absolutely. If that is something a chamber wants to do, we would love to partner and do that.
Like we speak it into existence,
we're going to speak it
now,
into
right?
existence.
Because there's more people that can be helped.
Yes,
and the reason I say that is because if one of the things is to make sure that we're doing more business loans in certain areas and the people of color or communities that have been locked out, then one of the things that we've got to do is really make sure that they're loan ready.
Yes,
Because giving them a
exactly.
loan when they don't have a thriving
Yep.
business that's generating revenue that can pay back that loan,
Yes,
is just
yes.
creating a headache for them, right?
Exactly. And that's what this cohort is really meant to do. I mean, we get as granular, and that's one of my favorite words, but we get as granular as talking about their profit and loss statements, just all of their financial statements. And
Yeah,
how do you read that? Because just because you have a CPA, you also want to
you got to know.
know yourself, right? Also, we had an attorney come in and talk to them about the legality of businesses and protecting their businesses, all the way down to their IP, their intellectual property, right? And then we also want to talk to them about getting capital ready, right? And how it is important that even on the personal side, you have your finances together so that your business can really grow and thrive. So we're wanting to make sure that when they leave, not only are they capital ready, but they can get capital with us. And if not us, one of our partners that we work with as well.
Yeah, and so I'm an advocate for that because on the personal side, there's so many people who are just not doing what they need to do to create
Yeah.
a strong personal foundation, but they all have a business idea,
Yeah.
and they'll jump at it and they'll
Jump
start
right,
doing
I
it, right?
know. Before the personals, right?
And when they're doing that, it's like then oh, I need some money. It's like whoa, well, let's
Yes.
slow your roll,
Let's
slow your
slow
roll.
down. Yes.
And so on the business side, just like on the personal side, you got to understand, okay, what is your market research?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
is your product or service, you know, is it priced appropriately in
Yep.
the market,
In
and
the market.
can you deliver it at a cost that gives you a good profit,
Yes. Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And then what's your business plan? What's your operational
Yep.
plan? What are your finances? What are your projections of how much
Mm-hmm.
money you can make? There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of money. Like, let's lay it out, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, if you lay out your plan and it is such a wealth creation plan,
Mm-hmm.
you should not have any problem trying to raise
Yes.
money because everybody's trying to give you
Exactly.
money,
Yes.
right?
Because your plan is innovative
And
and
if
we
people are
believe
not
in it.
busting down your door trying to give you money, then maybe you need to step back and
Yes.
say, okay, have I laid out and thought through my plan
Yes.
properly? And
Yes.
so the Empower series, we really want to make sure that we're giving that to people
Yes.
so that
Yes.
they become very astute users
Mm-hmm.
of financial professionals.
Yes, absolutely. And we talk about business plan. That's another thing that we discuss in the cohort, building a business plan, and that business plan, how that is going to give you that access to capital as well.
Okay.
So yeah, I can only reiterate what you said. You said it more eloquently, of course.
All right. So we're talking about, the resources out there to help people buy homes because that's a good way of building equity. The resources out there to help people if they have a business idea, take it to the next level
Yeah.
and be finance ready, right?
Yep.
You
Yep.
also talk about neighborhood revitalization,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, this, and you partner with a bunch of other organizations because we're not in this alone. Nothing of significance can ever be done alone.
Yes.
We all
Yes.
need to be working together. The problem is that we don't know what each other's doing, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like you didn't know about the Empower series. I keep beating myself up
Yes.
about that.
Yes. Yeah.
And so I got to get the Empower series out there more because one of the things we want to do is we want to connect people. We want to connect people to resources that can help them take that next step to achieve their goal.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
if you could wave a magic wand,
I'm nervous.
if you can wave a magic wand with what you do in the community and what you're seeing, what are some of the changes that you would like to have happen so we can begin to speak those into existence?
Yeah, my passion is really around economic development and affordable housing solutions. I really, especially when it comes to housing, it is a detriment for communities because if you don't have safe and secure housing, that makes it difficult for a child to go to school every day. And if you're not able to learn while you're in school, what does that then ultimately create when they go into the workplace? And then if they can't get a good job in the workplace or a low wage paying job in the workplace, we're going back into that entire cycle. So a lot of it does stem, I think, from affordable housing solutions. And so what I would love if we could do is really work on how to bring prices aren't going to go down, but how to allow quality access for more people. Even though we do have these amazing programs for down payment assistance, and even though we have these amazing programs with 100% financing,
Yeah.
a lot of communities are still challenged in some places. So what can we do to make sure they have safe, affordable, quality housing? And I think that's a bigger conversation, right? Banks can't do it alone. It's going to have to be banks as well as our municipalities and our communities coming together to figure out how that can be solved. And then also access to capital, small business access to capital, business of color, I should say. That is something the DEC network had a partnership with an entity, and they did research, and they found that an overwhelming number of small businesses south of 30 are barely getting access to capital. I can't give the
Do we
percentages,
know
but
why?
um,
Are they?
it was several different things in that study, but a lot of it found that the fear and the distrust of banks, thinking that they're automatically going to get denied,
Okay.
and then also not being credit worthy,
Ready.
right, or
Yeah.
credit ready, I should say,
Right.
because they don't know what to go in to
How,
ask.
like they're coming in looking for a job without a resume. It's like they come in
Exactly.
looking for money, ain't got no financial statements, right?
Exactly, exactly. And you're coming in when you need money, not
Right,
before you
right,
need money.
right.
But in order to come in before you need the money, you have to have the education, right?
Exactly.
And be empowered to know exactly how to be ready for that access to capital. So those are my, wish I could wave a magic wand and we have a solution for the housing affordability crisis and getting more
Okay.
people into safe and secured housing, but then also giving minority small businesses access to capital.
Okay, so I want to be a part of solving for those, but one of the things that we talked about that we didn't talk about yet was workforce development
Yes, yes, yes,
and
yes.
what you're doing around there, and maybe we can combine the workforce development with the education to help business owners get credit ready,
Hmm.
as well as letting people know about, because you mentioned 100% financing.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so if one of the challenges in getting to a house is coming up with the down payment, but they are able to manage the payments,
Hmm.
we need to let that be known.
Yeah, yeah. So I think workforce development, again, when I kind of went through that cycle, that's thrown in there as well, right? I
Hmm.
can't get into that affordable housing if
I
I
don't
don't
have a
have the
job.
job, right? And so something that a colleague of mine that is in the HR department did, we came together and we created a workforce development curriculum that I really wish more organizations knew about, more people knew about. It's really, really great. It was really born out of the want to help those who have been previously incarcerated be able to understand what jobs and opportunities were available to them. And we started with one curriculum and then it just grew and we realized this can help so many people.
Yeah.
So we have modules around resume building, mock interview best practices, business acumen. I mean, it's a gambit of things. But if we can help there and then help upskill or place people into jobs where they can grow and have a thriving career to be able to support their families, then when I'm not worrying about where my next my
Mhm.
next dollar is coming from, I can put that stress aside and now focus on debt payment, right? I can
Okay.
get that debt paid down. Now I can start saving. When I can start saving, I can really start saving for my goals, whether that's housing, whether that's starting that small business, saving for my kids' college, so that now they have a chance when it comes to their workforce
Right,
development
right.
skills to get them into housing, to get them access to capital and things of that nature. Because it ultimately is a full process, full cycle. I hope that made
So
sense.
here's what I was thinking when you were talking. So there's three pieces, right? Workforce development,
Hmm.
getting into a home,
Hmm.
and then having a thriving business and
Yeah,
being credit ready.
yeah, yeah.
Um, if people want to get in touch with you, or not necessarily you,
Hmm.
but the right resources within your bank,
Yeah.
what do they need to do? And this information is going to be below the video.
Yes, yes.
But so if people are just listening to this, what would be their first action of what to do?
Yes, so definitely I encourage reaching out to me or going to our website. They can go to ifinancial.com or independentfinancial.com. It'll take you to the same place, to
Okay.
our website. You can actually go to our couple landing pages. We have a landing page about our small business, our landing page about our housing solutions, and then also a community investment landing page. Talks a little bit about what I do,
Okay.
CRA. Also, you can find my information on there as well. But you can also shoot me over an email at Larsha, Larsha.Thomas@ifinancial.com. You can also find me on LinkedIn. I do a lot of, I try to do a lot more engaging on there, posting some community events that I'm involved in, or reposting some of our nonprofit partners that are having things coming up,
Okay.
so that the community knows what's happening. But those are the best ways to reach me and see what we have going on.
Okay, and I would say that we're going to continue, again, put your stuff out there.
Yeah.
And I remember as a financial advisor, we're always looking for clients.
Yeah.
Right? We're always prospecting. And I remember I would call to a doctor's office once, and they'll go like, excuse, we're not taking on new patients. I'm like, wait, what? You're not taking like, how do I get to that point?
Yeah.
And so right now, is it safe to say that these resources that you're doing, like, you're not turning people away right now? You want more people.
Want more, yes, more people. We want the people. And we, again, I said I have a Rolodex in my mind. And so I can always, if not shoot the person to the right contact or the organization, see what we can do on an organizational level to help the people. So we're not turning anyone away like that doctor that has a year-long wait list.
Right.
No, not here.
So what I'm thinking this, if people are watching right now and they're thinking, okay, what do I do next? Hopefully we've given some people hope that there are some additional resources out there that they weren't aware of, like your bank or you, that can help them get into a home, get educated, or maybe find out about, different solutions that would make it easier for them to get into a home. Or from a business perspective, find out things that can help them become more credit worthy.
Yeah,
or if they're having struggles getting a job,
Yeah.
Whether they're right out of prison or not. Those are at least 3 areas, then I would say they should be taking action to reach out to you.
Yes, absolutely,
Right?
absolutely.
So that's one thing I would like to say. And then the other thing is just to let this not be the ending, right? We
Yeah.
need to, when we see stuff like this and we learn something, we need to teach it. We need to
Yes.
share it,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
And I mean, I'm just so appreciative of you taking time out of your busy schedule. 'Cause I know you're running.
Yes.
You're running all over
Yes,
the place,
I'm like,
right?
going to the next meeting after. Yes.
And you got a wide territory. So
Yeah.
so the last thing I would say is, from someone who just don't know, they can walk into your branch and ask to speak with somebody, and what would be a good thing for them to say to open up the conversation? Because I'm trying to teach people to say, hey,
Yeah.
what I don't know what to do. I don't know what to ask for.
Walk into the bank and the first person that says hello, I want to know more about your bank and what you're doing for the community. Point blank.
Hey, I heard Larsha on a podcast, and she said I should walk into the bank and get to know you.
Yes,
But
right.
more importantly, you get to know
Get
me.
to know me,
So that you can,
yes,
so whatever you know that can help
yes.
me,
I can, yep.
we
I
start
can
there.
grow
So
and I
that's
can
what it
thrive.
is, right?
Yes,
That's
get to know your bankers. Introduce yourself and then ask them, what can you do for me and what do you do for the community? We are here to serve. We are a service-based entity and we have to serve the people. And so don't be afraid.
So here's what I want. I want, as a result of this podcast, for you to say, Clifton, we're full. We can't take on any.
I have a year wait list like that doctor of yours.
Slow it down, right?
Yes, that's what the hope is.
Yeah, because I really feel like you guys are doing some great work.
Yes.
I didn't know about your organization. Now I know a lot more.
Awesome.
I'm looking forward to partnering with you more and getting the
Absolutely.
word out and really empowering more lives.
Absolutely.
Right,
That's what it's all about.
So thanks again.
Yes,
You're definitely
thank
a blessing.
you. Thank you.
And I want to thank all of you too for sticking with us, right? Our goal with every Empower series is that we give you hope that the things that you envision you can achieve. We want to inspire you to take action, so just don't sit back, look at this, and go like, next. Definitely get out, go into a bank, go into your community, see how you can be an empowerment and inspiration to somebody else. We definitely educated you on some stuff, so we want to keep that out there. But more importantly, we want to connect you to resources. So stay connected with the Empower series. If you have any questions for me, you can always email me at thrive@empowerseries.com. Go to any of our programs. We're doing a program on the 3rd Saturday of every month, somewhere in the community, but they're all live streamed. So if you're in Kenya, Australia, no matter where you are, you can always dive in, subscribe to the YouTube channel. So stay connected with us. And until we meet again, I want you to be empowered and inspired to thrive. Thank you.